What is going on, guys? This is your host of the Most Philly Jim coming at you guys with yet another live stream. Most of you guys are probably just coming from the Sixers reaction to beating the Celtics. I'm not trying to say I told you so, but how long have I been saying that no Embiid, no problem? The Sixers play better with Ben Simmons as a focal point. Played better once again tonight, going to 3-0 against the Celtics, against a team that has owned us, and we flipped the script in the Sixers on the Celtics now. But that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. We're here to talk about the big news that broke. Mike Groh, most notably, also Carson Walsh, but Mike Groh out as the offensive coordinator. Carson Walsh out as a receiver coach. We can't really develop talent at wide receiver. That, in the end, that starts with coaching. We're here to pretty much discuss that and everything that's going to fall out after that. So, Joey Shiggs, what's going on tonight, man? How you doing? What was your first reaction to when you heard the breaking news? Mike Groh is out of Philadelphia.
I woke up, bro, because I slept late. So I was just like, I did like that moment where, like, in the offseason, I'll wake up for a second and, like, I'll check my phone and see if there's anything real quick. And I saw that from, it was a small tweet from, like, a news reporter. And then it got bigger. And I was like, holy crap, fucking Mike Groh, Carson Walsh are out, are done. And I jumped up out of my off my couch and I just started making a video this morning. So I was really happy because after like what Doug said yesterday about both of them saying that, oh, they're going to be back. Oh yeah, they're going to be back. And it was just seemed like, Doug doesn't sugarcoat things. If he knows, if he definitely knows a yes or a no, that he pretty much tells you. But and then just seeing that today, I mean, that's just a celebration by itself.
Right. So I agree with everything you just said, but in your opinion, do you think it's fair to say that throughout over the course of not only this year, but also last year, that these two guys in particular, Mike Groh being number one, and also Carson Walsh, his inability to help these receivers grow into their own, not being able to develop talent receiver, would you say Mike Groh and Carson Walsh have been the two biggest factors into why the Philadelphia Eagles have, for lack of a better word, underachieved, not really achieved what they're capable of doing over the last 2 years?
I mean, depending on when Mike Rowe was the receiver coach, it was a totally different ball game because our receivers were
right. Well, what I'm going off of is 2018 season, 2019 season, not when Frank was still here, obviously as the OC and Groh as the receiver coach. I'm pretty much just basing off of Uncle Frank goes to Indianapolis, Mike Groh gets promoted. Carson Walsh still gets bumped up, and he's a receiver coach. Would you say that's probably the biggest factor for the problems we've had?
Yeah, I mean, with Mike Groh, speaking of this year and last year, I mean, unfortunately, it seemed like when Carson Wentz was in the game, even last year, it just seemed like, I know he was dealing with injuries at the time, the back fracture and all that stuff. So, Mike Groh could really do. I think he just knew how to use Nick Foles a lot more than he did Carson Wentz with with just the RPOs and stuff like that. But when it comes to this year, I wouldn't I wasn't going to reward Mike Groh with another year at OC in 2020 just because he won against the NFC East in a month, a few games. I just think that. I know Doug was talking about Carson Walsh as well, saying that, it's hard to get these young guys. Carson Walsh prepared these young guys. Let me tell you something. He might have prepared them for a game, but I'm telling you right now, those guys were more on the inside of their own hearts and their own minds that they gave a shit a lot more about starting in an NFL game, especially going into the playoffs and making a run.
Right.
So, I wouldn't put too much on Carson Walsh, doing anything with this team. And when in regards to Mike Groh, though, he's not rewarded. He should be ashamed of himself for for keeping Matt Collins on this roster and making the stupid comments that he has been making all year about guys, running good routes and, making excuses up for a lot of guys. And, at the moment, like when injuries happen, you really get to see how your coaching is. You really get to see the true colors of what they could do behind the scenes and what moves they do make and how they can put players in the right positions to win football games. But they didn't do that for a long time. And it was really, we've had some sloppy games. We've come out with some wins, sloppy wins, sloppy losses. And you know what? Both of them are to blame. Carson Walsh, I'm just like, why are they upgrading? Just the guy has no experience really. He has experience at quarterback, but that's like it. I don't see why I don't know. Carson Walsh is, a young guy that's, a young coach. And there's nothing wrong with young coaches. I have nothing against young coaches trying to make it up there, promote or, people want better jobs. People want more money. It's all about the dollar bill. So, but them two do not deserve it. They never deserved another year. And then when I heard Doug made the statement the other day, I was like, well, that was quick. That was a quick answer. And, I'm glad both of them are gone and they don't deserve anything more than what they're getting right now.
Right, I just think you're absolutely right about what you just said about the whole Mike Groh situation. In the end, it doesn't just come down to what Mike Groh has done as offensive coordinator. Doug Peterson, let me be clear, Doug Peterson is in charge of calling the plays, but Mike Groh is in charge of game planning, and he's in charge of, all right, this is the team we're playing this week. This is their weaknesses and their strengths. So what plays can I install that are going to work? He never installed plays that were going to work. And I think it cost us quite a few wins last year due to that. And we're a 9-7 team. We won the NFC East, but 9-7, you can pretty much chalk that up as an average season. That's the second year in a row we've been 9-7. So, we need to get back to winning double-digit games. We need to win 10-plus games. With the quarterback we have, as talented as Carson Wentz is, he needs a coordinator that can bring out the absolute best in him. He needs a position coach that can bring out the absolute best in him. So what I want to see is I want to see some stuff shake up. With the job opening we have at OC, we got a job opening at receiver coach as well. I want to see a shake up here, and I want to see a coordinator come in, a coordinator that is not as much as I love Deuce, and I would consider Deuce. He actually is my top 5 candidates of guys I would consider, but at the same time, he's done really well where he is as a running backs coach. And what I want is a guy with some experience, a guy with some moxie, a guy that understands quarterbacks, a guy that understands the modern NFL, a guy that understands what offenses are trying to do nowadays. So promoting from within, even if you got a guy like Stu Staley who's been here forever, probably isn't the best way to go. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
No, I want them to stop with the promoting from within. They need to go outside the organization, go get somebody. I'm tired. That's when these two got fired, I was like seeing, oh my God, I watched them put up Deuce Staley to OC, and then, then they'll have to get a running backs coach, and then, or he'll do both jobs. I don't know, whatever it is. But, because I know Deuce Staley is the assistant head coach, whatever the hell they made up a goddamn title for him. So I mean, there's it's a big opening, and they need to bring somebody with some experience, years of experience. And when I saw the Kevin O'Connell, and I saw Jim Caldwell as well,
absolutely.
You got Jay Gruden out there, you got Kafka out there, you got a few other guys out there that could probably come in and do some good work. But I mean, even if you get Caldwell, which is pretty good, he's been assistant for Baltimore and head coach of Detroit for a long time, for 4 years. Went back to Detroit after going to Baltimore. So,
head coach in Indianapolis, Coach Painting. What I really like about Jim Caldwell is he's found a way to get the best out of his QBs. He's gotten the best out of Peyton Manning. He's gotten the best out of Matthew Stafford. he can get the best out of Carson Wentz. So if the Eagles are going to go all in for a coordinator, I think Jim Caldwell is your guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And just to have those years of experience, he's been through the ringer with everything. He's been demoted, promoted. He's been a head coach. He's been an assistant. He's pretty much been down the whole line. So, I mean, bringing him in, I would love it. I would love it. I would think our coaching, our scheme will be set for next year, because that's pretty much at the end of every season, especially when a team season is over. The first thing that teams go over is the coaching staff. Or do we, is there any trust in these guys going forward? And Jim Caldwell, when I saw that name, I said, that could be a name that could be as the OC for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm pretty psyched. I'm pretty excited to see who they pick. So hopefully they pick in the coming days. So
right, I actually don't expect the Eagles to pick right away. I mean, I what I mean by that is I don't expect a decision to be made tomorrow or the next day or by the end of the weekend. But the Eagles are going to be smart about this. And what I want to bring up is what Howie Roseman said. What he said was, what my problem is I'm too emotional when it comes to the players. I keep players around for too long. Has done it with Jason Peters. Has done it with Darren Sproles, among others. So a lot of the familiar faces that we're used to seeing are out of here. And I think Doug is a guy he's a great coach. Players love playing for him. He's a really nice guy. And I think people just like him in general as a person. So I don't think he's the kind of guy that likes firing people. And I think he was friends with Mike Groh. And I think he was friends with Carson Walsh. And I think he really liked these guys. I think he really did. I think he had a genuine relationship with them. But in the NFL, you can't just have guys. The NFL is not the place for friendships. It's a business. It's like anywhere else you're going to work in the real world. Tough decisions always have to be made. So I gotta commend the Eagles organization for making a tough decision. I think this is going to be the first of many tough decisions that are made. It's going to be made on the coaching staff. It will be made in the front office. And it will be made especially in the personnel. A lot of familiar players will be on the out.
Yeah, no, I mean, going to have a lot of guys, a lot of free agents this year. I know Howie was asked about the cornerback spot, asked about Zach Ertz, Malcolm Jenkins, Alshon Jeffrey. There's a lot of decisions that this team is going to have to make, and you know what? There's some guys that we really just say, hey, you know what? We need a clean slate. We need, especially at some positions, we need a clean slate. We need to let some guys go, and he needs to let go of some guys. I mean, he brought back Deshaun Jackson. He tried trading for LaShawn McCoy twice. I mean, he's tried bringing guys back that were kind of screwed out of being here the rest of their career. But I guess in the end, it was a blessing for us winning a Super Bowl and having a new regime with Doug Peterson and the rest of this team. So I think this year could be a good year. I think. Howie Roseman has said during the press conference, he said that he's always aggressive. Right. He just didn't think it was right to pull the trigger last year. During the trade deadline, he says we got 10 draft picks. He says he hopes that we have 10 draft picks this year. This would put him in a good spot. He said for more flexibility. This could be for trades. This could be for, moving up in the draft. So
absolutely.
A lot could happen between now and then. And there's a lot of different scenarios. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of speculation, a lot of bull crap coming up. Don't believe a damn thing, whatever anyone says about the draft, mock drafts. Don't even believe a goddamn thing, because Howie Roseman even talked about, you like having those extra picks because you can move up and get a guy like you get, he made an example getting jumping in front of a team to get Andre Dillard, doing stuff like that to go get a guy off the board that they really want. So, we'll see how it goes. But I think Howie has learned a lot for the past few years. And I think it's going to be a whole new regime of youth with very minimal veteran players that are going to be leading this team.
Right. I'm not saying that we should get rid of every player that's currently on our roster. Yeah. Obviously, there's going to be guys you want to keep, but there's obviously also guys you want to get rid of. And I think the guys that we want to get rid of are obvious guys that really regressed and just didn't produce. I mean, you look at Nelson Aguilar, who was in a contract year, really going into the year, people were excited about Nelson and thought he would come in with that hunger and that heart so he could get a big payday, and he did the exact opposite. We don't even know if this guy's going to be in the NFL next year, to be honest. I mean, this guy could literally go to the XFL with the way he played in 2019, and he's been a fan favorite, and Alshon's been a fan favorite. And if you had all the drama with him and Carson Wentz, so, personnel things are going to happen, and I think you, as well as I did, you know what? We really wanted to sell the farm for Jalen Ramsey, and we really wanted to make some. We wanted Emmanuel Sanders, and we wanted to upgrade this receiving core in season. But in the end, we don't know if it's going to be worth it, because if you look at what the Eagles have done the last 2 years, they have traded up for pretty much an impact player in each of the last 2 drafts. Last year, it was going up to get Andre Dillard. The year before, they jumped in front of the Dallas Cowboys to get Dallas Goedert, who we've seen, even in Ertz's absence due to injury, the guy's been a number 1 tight end. So the Eagles see the number 1 receiver they want in this draft. Maybe Howie is going to use the picks that he decided not to trade for an impact player to get the impact player that he really thinks would help the team the most. So I've been kind of on Howie Roseman during the season for not being aggressive enough. But I think that aggressiveness is going to come back. That aggression is going to come out. And Howie Roseman is going to make some big moves in this offseason, whether it's going to be draft, whether it's going to be trades, whether it's going to be free agents. He's going to do some stuff to shake up this team, and he's going to have us in a much better position to win football games next year. So it's really something to look forward to if you're an Eagles fan.
Yeah, I think with the draft, and I guess, I'm the total opposite of the draft for this year, because everybody wants the top 10 receiver. Everybody wants CeeDee Lamb. And, I'm not saying I don't want him, but right. I know these receivers, it goes so deep into at least the early 3rd round. It goes pretty damn deep. I understand the talent level is the top guys, of course, but you have other guys you could draft later on as well. I mean, my perspective of the draft and free agency is that I figure that the Eagles will go after a free agent receiver to fill in for Nelson Aguilar if Alshon Jeffrey is still on the team next year. If you get rid of Alshon Jeffrey, it's $26 million, dead cap space. So, I mean, it's not impossible to trade Alshon Jeffrey if you have to, because you could take on half of his salary and kind of make a deal that way and have the other team take on half his salary, so it's cheaper for them when they sign him in a trade or whatnot to take it on. But I feel like Eagles will go receiver and free agency, and probably in this draft, they'll probably go total opposite in this draft like they did this past year, heavy defensive line draft this past year, and then went for an offensive tackle, the best pass blocking tackle in the league in the draft. And then this year coming up in 2020, I figure maybe the Eagles will go opposite, go defense, maybe go get a corner, go get somebody that no one else is going to go get, because, a lot of guys are, there's a few teams going after quarterbacks. You got receivers. So I figure maybe the Eagles maybe can move up a little bit. Maybe they'll stay where they are, whatever it is, and maybe go draft a top corner, because, corner wise, it's Darby's gone, Mills could be gone, so I mean you're running pretty thin. We need it. We need that guy. We need that guy. I mean I like Jalen Mills' swagger, but doesn't have the play to back it up. Ronald Darby, all these corners except for Crevon LeBlanc is very promising. Avonte Max is up and down, but mostly up. And then most of the time, these corners have a bad track of the football. They'll be in the right position. But how many times did you see a receiver go over our corners to get the ball, and our corners are in the perfect position? So I think that the Eagles will go opposite. I would like them to get CeeDee Lamb. Of course, it's the sexy pick. It's the hot pick. But I would love them to go get a corner as well. Get the best corner in the draft next year as well. And I honestly, with 10 picks, you could do a lot of maneuvering around. So.
Right. I mean, I hear what you're saying 100%. So when the draft gets here, we'll see what happens with the Eagles. But either way, I know one thing's going to happen. The Eagles are going to have an extreme makeover with the skill positions, with the receivers, with the secondary, and what have you. We're good at running back. We saw what happened with Miles Sanders this year. Really good rookie season. We'll see what's in store for him moving forward. Tight ends looking good, but we gotta get talent on the outside, both on offense and defense, corner and receiver. So we'll see what happens there. But Mike Groh, that was the biggest thing that I think's been holding us back. And I think we're going to bring in the right guy, and we're going to see the best of Carson Wentz heading into 2020 season. Very exciting stuff. Draft, very exciting stuff. Free agency, everything else in between. The React Show will return on a regular basis a little bit after the Super Bowl. That is when we will start our stuff back up again. We just wanted to get this out here real quick. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. So if you guys haven't done it already, please subscribe to the React Show on YouTube. And there's going to be a lot of good stuff on there. So you guys really don't want to miss it. So make sure you guys are there for that. Make sure you subscribe. This is your host with the most, Philly Jim. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Joey Shakes, do you have anything else you'd like to add before we shut it down tonight?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm ready for 2020. I'm ready for the future of this team, and I'm ready to see what the Eagles do. It's going to be. I think it's really interesting because a lot of guys are going to be moving. A lot of guys could be going. There's going to be a lot of hard decisions, especially for Howie, to let go of veteran guys and let go of a few guys. And I need to see this team get a nice balance of veteran and youth. We're one of the oldest rosters this past year. So I want to get some youth on this team and start making good decisions, and Howie being aggressive as he is. So that's all I really got to say, man. I'm excited for 2020.
Absolutely. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. We will see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning into this special edition of the Read and React Show. We will see you guys later. Go Birds.
Peace, guys.
Let's go.